Damn it. The billionaire cursed, his voice cutting through the roaring winds and pounding rain of a chaotic storm. He was en route to sign a billion-dollar deal, a defining moment in his career when, boom, his car suddenly lurched to the side. One of the tires had blown out. With no cell signal, things looked grim. He stood in the rain, frustration mounting. But then, out of nowhere, 3 black teenage boys approached, laughing and chatting among themselves. "Need some help, sir?" one of them offered, a confident grin on his face. 20 minutes later, the job was done. The blown-out tire had been replaced by the boys, their teamwork seamless despite the downpour. Grateful, the billionaire reached into his wallet, pulling out cash as a thank you. But to his surprise, the boys refused. A few days later, a sleek black SUV pulled up in front of the boys' home, delivering something special. This true story reminds us of the unexpected kindness in the world. Let's reflect on it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful stories like this. And tell us, where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As Chris finally left that evening, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the small town. He took one last look at the community center, imagining what it would become in just a few months. Not just a functional space, but a place full of life, laughter, and endless possibilities. Driving away, something inside him shifted. This wasn't just another project. It was a chance to leave a lasting mark, to honor the selflessness of 3 boys who had reminded him what truly mattered: connection and kindness. He smiled, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. For the first time in years, Chris felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. The renovations began swiftly. By the following week, teams of workers arrived, ready to bring the vision to life. Chris made sure every detail was planned meticulously. First, the old, leaky roof was replaced, then the walls, plumbing, and electrical systems were restored. But this wasn't just a repair job, it was a transformation. Ethan, Tony, and Peter showed up every day after school, watching in awe as the center slowly took shape. They helped however they could, carrying tools, clearing debris, even grabbing paintbrushes to add fresh color to the walls. The construction workers took a liking to them, cracking jokes and letting them take on small tasks under supervision. Chris visited frequently, overseeing progress and chatting with the workers. But his favorite moments? The breaks, sitting outside with the boys and Karen, talking about the future of the center. With each passing day, Chris felt a deeper connection to both the project and the community. Then, one bright Saturday morning, as the workers put the final touches on the new playground, a crowd gathered. Word had spread, and families from all over town came to see the transformation for themselves. The playground stood at the heart of it all, a vibrant space with colorful swings, a slide, and a jungle gym. It was more than just a playground. It was proof of what was possible when people came together. Standing beside Chris, Karen watched as the last bolts were secured. She turned to him, eyes filled with gratitude. "I don't think we'll ever be able to thank you enough," she said softly. Chris shook his head with a smile. "Karen, this isn't about thanks. This place is going to mean so much to so many people. That's all I need." She nodded, but her voice wavered. "You didn't just fix a building, Chris. You gave this town hope." Before he could reply, Ethan, Tony, and Peter came sprinting over, their faces lit with excitement. "It's done. The playground's done," Ethan shouted, pointing to the newly finished equipment. Chris looked at the boys, their energy contagious. "Then you 3 should have the honor of testing it out first." Without hesitation, they took off, laughing as they climbed onto the swings. Their joy was infectious, drawing cheers from the crowd. Parents smiled, kids lined up, and soon, the playground was alive with movement and laughter. As the sun began to set, Chris stood on the steps of the community center, taking in the sight, the bustling crowd, the smiling faces, the sound of children playing. Karen joined him, handing him a cup of coffee. "You've changed this place, Chris," she said, emotion thick in her voice. "But I think you've also changed yourself." He chuckled, taking a sip. "You're not wrong. Those boys reminded me of something I'd forgotten. Kindness doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes, it's as simple as stopping to help someone in need. Karen smiled. And sometimes, it turns into something much bigger. Later that evening, as the event wound down and families began heading home, Ethan, Tony, and Peter found Chris near his car. They hesitated for a moment before Ethan stepped forward. "Mr. Chris, we just wanted to say thanks. Not just for the center, but for everything." His voice was sincere. Chris knelt down, meeting their eyes. "No, thank you. If it weren't for you three, I wouldn't have remembered what really matters." Tony shifted, stuffing his hands in his pockets. "You know, we just thought we were helping with a flat tire." Chris laughed, ruffling Tony's hair. "You did more than that. You helped me fix something I didn't even realize was broken." Peter grinned, his eyes twinkling. "Well, if you ever need help again, you know where to find us." Chris smiled warmly. "I think I'll take you up on that one day." The boys waved as they walked back to their families, leaving Chris standing by his car, watching them go. A deep sense of fulfillment settled over him. As he drove away that night, the emptiness that had once followed him was nowhere to be found. Instead, he felt whole. The community center wasn't just a building anymore. It was a testament to what could happen when people chose kindness over indifference. Join the movement for change. Subscribe to the channel, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's make these stories a part of our daily lives. Together, we can create real impact.